Hi, everyone, and welcome to SHETalks. I'm so excited to welcome you all to the first SHETalks of the new commission. Today, we're going to be speaking to Brigitte Chelebian, who is the founder and director of Justice Without Frontiers, a nonprofit non-governmental organization based in Lebanon. Brigitte, thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to start this off by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and Justice Without Frontiers.
Hello. So my name is Brigitte Chelebian. I'm a lawyer, and I am the founder and director of Justice Without Frontiers organization, which is a juristic organization dealing with human rights from the legal perspective. So, and mainly we have different programs, mainly focusing on women access to justice, women and girls, and we work on 3 levels: individual level. So we raise awareness of women and girls about their legal rights. We provide them by free legal consultation and legal representation. We established a group of 60 paralegals coming from across Lebanon. We have youth, we have women survivors and others. So they are helping us to spread the legal information within their communities. As well, we work on the community level. So we build capacities of security sectors, lawyers, media, NGOs, INGOs, university students, political parties. We work with religious leaders in the aim to advocate for our cause. And we work on the systemic level through working on advocating for adopt new policies on amending law. As well, we work on changing behavior and other matters.
Sounds great. So in Lebanon, what institutions and social barriers do you feel stand in the way of gender equality? Are there any laws that prevent progress in Lebanon when you're talking and addressing gender inequality?
Yes, in Lebanon, at first, let's talk about about social norms. So we have different barriers that women face, gender equality face, and mainly women and girls are facing. They are related to the culture and to the norms. This is on the first hand. On the second hand, we have the laws. And let's start talking about the personal status laws. We have 15 personal status laws. 15, we have 12 religious courts. So we are not talking about the discrimination between men and women. We are talking as well about discrimination between women and another women, which if they are from different sects. So even if they are from the same religion, for example, even if they are Christian, one Maronite and the other Greek Orthodox, they are facing different kind of discrimination. This is on the first hand, and this is very important. When we talk about the personal status law, it's very important because this law is affecting the different other laws and different other rights related to women. It's affecting laws related to ending violence and women protection. It is affecting the participation of women on the political levels, and other matters that we will be discussing during this interview. But coming to the laws, I have to mention that we have two very important. We have new amendments of laws now in Lebanon. We have in 2020. We have the adoption of law number 205, which is related to sexual harassment in the workplace. And we have the amendments of law to protect women and other family members from domestic violence. Unfortunately, we have one of challenges that we have, that not all women, girls, not all decision makers, juries are aware about this law. So it is very important to work on raising awareness, building capacities, and start the implementation of especially talking about sexual harassment law. Coming to the law to protect women and other family members, we have an increase of violence against women and girls in Lebanon. But also we have a very important challenge that the women are facing is that the judicial institutions are not acting very well. Now, for example, we have the strike of clerks and of officials, so the justice system is not acting very well, and which means that the protection of women is not on the right steps. Okay. As well, we have other law related to nationality. Lebanese women is not able to transfer her Lebanese nationality to her children unless if her child is an illegitimate child, which is a very big discrimination between men and women. We have as well the issue of non-registered children, and the percentage of non-registered children as well is increasing in Lebanon, taking into consideration the current situation, the current economic situation and security situation. People doesn't have enough money to go for registration, especially now after the new budget that the parliament adopted in Lebanon. We have as well, if we want to continue talking about laws, we can talk about the implementation of decisions issued by the religious court related to custody and alimony. And if I want to talk about alimony, we have this this difference between the rate the difference of rate between dollars and the Lebanese pound. So this is in general, and as well when we talk about the crisis in Lebanon, political crisis and economic crisis, of course we have to talk that the percentage of vulnerability is increasing, which means the percentage of abuse as well is increasing. And when we talk about the percentage of abuse increasing, we talk about trafficking. And unfortunately, we don't have statistics about the percentage of violence, percentage of trafficking in Lebanon, except the percentage that we are receiving from the internal security forces. And finally, I want to talk about the cyberbullying, the bullying and cyberbullying, bullying in schools and cyberbullying and online sexual harassment, which is now a big issue in Lebanon. And there isn't enough precaution taken by the government to fight this this new kind of violence.
So my next question was actually going to be about, do you think the institutions in Lebanon allow for domestic violence and gender violence to be overlooked? And it seems like it does. Why do you think all of this is being overlooked and why it's not being addressed?
Now the institution in Lebanon, we have institution in Lebanon who are working on this matter. So if you want to talk on the internal security forces, they have a great effort from the internal security forces to address the protection of women victims of domestic violence. And there is a different internal memo issued by the General Directorate regarding this matter, but still there is some need of improvement in on some levels. And we should not forget the current economic situation. The internal security forces is still acting despite all the economic crisis, but still they are doing, for me, they are doing very good job. And we have the only official statistics that we can get regarding the domestic violence are from the internal security forces till now, because they have their hotline 1745, and they are receiving several calls on this hotline. Regarding the judicial system, you know, the judicial system is the most important institution to fight violence against women, and to end the impunity, and to punish perpetrators. But unfortunately, since 2009 and even before, we can talk about some challenges that this sector is facing. And for sometimes judges were in strike, for sometimes lawyers were in strike, and for sometimes even the clerks, they were on strike. So even women who is victims of domestic violence or victim of any kind of violence, she is not able to report her cases to the court because or there is no judge or there is no clerk to receive and to register her case of the register her case of violence, you know, it will be registered at the court and to be followed. But again, despite all of these challenges, the Ministry of Justice, they are trying to do something, but it is not enough. Yani we need to have a very active and very quick justice system to protect women and to punish violators or perpetrators. I shall talk about as well about the Ministry of Social Affairs. It's an institution who are supporting women, not to reach the justice system, but maybe to reach the social services. But again, there is lots of challenges related to the economic situation, because even ministry, they are facing lots of challenges, and the official in the ministries, sometimes they are on strike. And even if you want to talk about poor women, so how will they know about the services? How will they reach the services? I just want to give you an example about a woman who called me maybe 2 years, since 2 years, and she were facing violence, her and her children, from their father. He was beating her and her children, and it was extremely hard. So I told her, you can go and I can help you to present a complaint. I can help you to get a protection decision. She said that she said, I don't need none all of this. I just need if you can help me to get some food for my children. So maybe the aggressivity of my husband will decrease. So he will be less. This is an indicator that the justice is not anymore what people are requesting. What people are requesting right now is to eat, to have food, to have medicine. So our role as a human rights activist, as our organization, as the role of the government shall be is not waiting people to come to us to ask justice, but to go to people and to help them to get justice. Because even justice within the whole situation become very expensive. Okay, for example, if you want to talk about the religious courts, all fees are in US dollar. I'm talking about Christians religious court. Most all fees are in US dollar. So now there is no more discrimination between men and women. There is no more discrimination now between women and women from different sects. There is now discrimination between rich women and poor women.
That was very informative. Thank you. So it seems like domestic violence is definitely, and gender violence is definitely going underreported. It seems like they are getting better at it, but it's going to take time. What do you think is the most important aspect in the legal system that is allowing victims to have a safe space to report their abuse?
I think the most important is that we have the law. We have a law, okay? And as well, there is a very big role for the civil society who are supporting vulnerable women to reach justice. Okay, so we have a law, we have the civil society who are raising awareness, women awareness and girls awareness about their legal rights and how they can access justice. And some of the civil societies, very few organizations, they are supporting women to have a lawyer and maybe supporting women with court fees. As well, what is helping women is sometimes we have judges who are really well educated about human rights in general and women rights, and sometimes they are getting decisions that we can that we can describe that as jurisprudence. Yani, they are, even when they are implementing the law, they are implementing the law in a way to provide the big space, the big, yani, they are implementing the law in a way to provide the larger protection of women as much as is possible. So we have decision to protect women from physical violence, from moral violence, from economical violence. So we have this issue of decision. But again, even the organization, we are not able to reach all women across all Lebanon, because sometimes when we talk about vulnerable women, now they are not aware these vulnerable women living in the very rural region, but they are all over Lebanon, because the percentage of vulnerability are increasing. So there is a need for revolution in the justice system, what I want to say, to support this, to ensure women access to justice.
So when you're saying jurisprudence, I was thinking, yes, legal law, but also something more culturally. We have to implement it into the society. Because I was a jurisprudence major,
Yes,
so like I understand the idea of jurisprudence, but to make it more involved in the culture, in the society.
yes,
So
yes.
my next question, I wanted to ask you, are there currently any resources, not just legal, maybe other organizations, spaces throughout Lebanon that are helpful for women who are dealing with domestic gender violence, and poverty and that kind of stuff?
When we talk about the justice system, we are talking about formal and informal justice. So when we talk going to the court, we are talking about the formal justice. And when we talk about the informal justice, we are talking about the role of mediators, the support that are provided from organization to try to solve the issue of women who are victims of domestic violence, the role of some community leaders, for example, religious leaders, not all religious leaders, but some of the religious leaders, some of the political parties, because sometimes women, some women who are victims of domestic violence, they don't go to the court, but they can go to the mayor, they can go to the religious leader who try, or to the organization who try to find a way to solve her problem, to provide her, especially let's talk about organization, by the psychosocial support, maybe by providing her by economic empowerment, so she can work, she can get money, she can be economically a bit independent from her husband. And then we can go to there is another choice at the end, is to go to the court. And there is a very important role of mediation, which is a new tools now, when new tools in the justice system. But when we talk about mediation, we talk about mediators on violence against women, and they should be really educated. They should have this background, the law background, the human rights background, the women's rights background, and they have to be aware about the principles of mediation and how the steps should be taken.
I also wanted to ask you about, so for these spaces, I know you mentioned something about Lebanese women, it's different equality levels between women in Lebanon. So I wanted to bring up the idea of the kafala system and people who are not Lebanese, but they work in Lebanon. Do these laws and do these services apply to those women who are working in Lebanon, but not necessarily Lebanese women?
Any woman living in Lebanon, any person is living in Lebanon, the Lebanese law will be implemented on any cases they are facing. So if we have Syrian woman who is victim of domestic violence, she can benefit from law to protect women and other family members from domestic violence. Any child as well who need protection, we have the law 422 despite of its of his or her nationality or any situation. Regarding the kafala system, we are talking about women, but they are benefiting from, if they are victims of violence, they will benefit from the law. They will not benefit from domestic violence law unless if the violence is committed from their husbands. Their husband could be Lebanese or foreigner. They will be, the Lebanese law will be implemented. The only issue that we have is that not all women, they are aware about these laws. Talking about foreigner women, talking about refugee women, they are not aware about this law. And if some, for example, I will talk about refugee, if they know about these laws, they think that they will not benefit from. So it is very important to spread the information, to let them know about what are their rights, how they can face cases of violence, to who they can report, and how cases and how they can access justice, and what are the process that the case can follow.
That's very interesting. Thank you. So as an outsider, and I'm going to say an outsider because I live in America, it's really evident that Lebanon's political system is split based on religion. Regardless of
Yeah.
religion, do you believe that these religious courts and the power they play and the role that they have in the government is a reason why domestic violence is being underreported in Lebanon?
Not really. There is two issues regarding not reporting cases of violence. We have the issue of the religious court and of the religious leaders, because sometimes if a woman is victim of domestic violence and she go to the religious leader, he will tell her, go my daughter, go to your husband, you can solve this issue, or they will find any maybe different solution to her just to go back to her home. Or sometimes he will tell her go to the court, and there are few this religious leaders parliament, and we have any law related to women and girls and children, always we can find the religious leaders and their impact on the politician. So just to make sure that the women will never be independent, she will be dominated by men. She has to follow the personal status law. It's very hard sometimes to get all the freedom for a woman, all the women human rights, all the rights for women. It's because of the religions and the religious leaders, and even the politicians who has a patriarchal mind and behavior. Okay. This is one. And two, why all cases are not reported as well. We can say that not all women are aware. Not all women have the capacity to report cases. Not all women, they have access to shelters, or they have a supportive families. Not all women, they are financially independent, so they can report. And many women, they are afraid to lose the custody of their children. So there is many issues, but I have to highlight that during some period, we think that cases of violence are increasing. Now, cases of violence increased after the COVID-19, and they are as well increasing after this economic problems and all this situation. But when we start talking about violence against women, some of community members or religious leaders or others, patriarchal mind person, they are saying, look, they are talking about, they are organization talking about violence against women, and look, cases, and look, we start seeing cases of violence. This is not true. When we start talking about cases of violence, women are aware about their right. And when we start having organization working on violence against women, they start reporting cases that they never talked about. And when women start talking about cases, they are encouraging other women to as well report their cases. But again, what I want to say that right now, in our days, there is really a big challenge for women, a financial challenge, to report cases of violence. And there is other challenge about the system, the whole system, because it's not working well. And we have as well, we have to highlight the issue of the displaced women in the south of Lebanon. So when we talk about displacement, we are talking as well about increasing of violence, increasing of abuse, increasing of sexual harassment, and still there is some work of precaution, but still this is not enough. I want to highlight one important issue is that when we talk about the humanitarian crisis, we always think to provide food, medicine, psychosocial support, whatever, but we never think about justice. And when we talk about humanitarian crisis, we never think about how to secure, to have a safe space for women, how to secure reporting cases for women who are victims of violence or sexual violence, how to end the impunity, even if it's during, and there is always different ways, different strategies that the government can adopt, and even the organization, the international organization, they can adopt. For example, in Lebanon, we have in our national contingency plan, there is the pillar of protection, but it is not necessary that this pillar include the justice level.
I really liked what you said about the whole justice thing, because we always think about what can we do. And we don't have that much time left, so because Zoom doesn't give us that much time. So I wanted to ask you, as a diaspora, what do you think we can do to get involved, help women's rights and gender equality in Lebanon, even being abroad? What do you think is the best way for us to help? Is it by education? Is it by donation? What do you think?
I think at first it is very important that as diaspora to understand what women are facing as challenges in Lebanon. When the diaspora understand the cause, they will be able to know where to intervene. This is one. The Lebanese diaspora as well can support the advocacy campaign in Lebanon to ensure access to justice, to ensure law amendments, to ensure ending the early marriage, for example, to ensure that Lebanese women will be providing nationality to her children, and other cases to end the sexual violence in Lebanon, to end the trafficking, to work on protection matter. They can support the advocacy campaign, they can be part of the advocacy campaign, and they can even work within their countries, wherever they are, through urging the government, working within the government where they are living, to urge the Lebanese government to adopt new laws to end the violence and anything else. So when we talk about ending inequality, or when we talk about gender equality, when we talk about access to justice, we have these three levels: the individual level, the community level, the systemic level. I will not talk about donation, because we cannot donate without knowing for what we are donating. The most important is to understand the cause. And when we understand the cause, we can take the decision where we will be working, and then we can find the right organization or the right persons with who we can work, and then we can build the strategies. But of course, there is a big role for the diaspora.
Thank you so much for
Yes.
talking to us. This has been amazing, and I really think a lot of people are going to learn from this. I learned a lot from it. So yeah, thank you. It was
Thank
so
you
nice
very much.
meeting you. It was so nice speaking to you. Hopefully we can speak soon.